Victorian government says it's the largest support package in the state's history, $3 billion to support local businesses hit hard by the longest and toughest COVID lockdowns anywhere in the world.
And it's why it is, without any doubt, the biggest package of business support that this state has ever seen.
Well, despite the Premier's spin, given how hard he's hit businesses in Melbourne with these lockdowns, business leaders say what's been offered won't even touch the sides. Worse still, support offered last time hasn't even yet been delivered. I'm joined now by one of the state's leading restaurateurs, Chris Lucas, from his Melbourne institution Chin Chin, along with David Canny, the president of the Australian Hotels Association, coming to us tonight from Ballarat in country Victoria. Chris, I might start with you. I'll get into some of the actual detail of what's in this package in a moment, but given he promised a roadmap out of recovery, or a roadmap to recovery, a bit over a week and a half ago, and then he's backed it in with the actual announcements on Sunday, what do you make of it all?
Well, Peter, these announcements are no different to what's been going on for the last few months. It's more spin and more rhetoric, more propaganda, but no real solutions, quite frankly. The $3 billion headline figure, $1.8 billion of it is deferred payroll tax, which, quite frankly, most small businesses in Victoria at the moment are probably not paying anyway because they haven't been open for the last 7 months. So, you know, there's just no real solutions here, and quite frankly, I think everyone's getting sick of the spin.
Yeah, David, it's a pretty canny announcement when you have a payroll tax deferral. But as Chris rightly remarks, if you're not open, you haven't got people employed, you're not paying payroll tax anyway. So that helps you top the numbers up to get to this $3 billion. What's actually real in this package for people that you represent in pubs and licensed venues across Victoria?
So in real terms, it's about $250 million going back into our sector, well, with grants from sort of $15,000 up to $30,000 per venue. For some people, that will be significant. The smaller pub, it might help them creep back from that debt cliff. But the fact of the matter is, we are right on the edge. Our industry is right on the edge. Basically been closed since March. This is a little bit of a band-aid in many ways. It might get us through a couple of weeks, but we need a genuine plan to accelerate out of this.
Chris, I want to go to you on this point about the grants are up to $30,000 now. That's a lot of money. A lot of people at home would say that's a lot of money. Taxpayers who are paying it would say it's a lot of money. But give people a sense of all the other costs that you still have to pay, all the bills that are still coming in, even though you're closed.
Look, Peter, $30,000 might sound like a significant amount of money, and we're not being disrespectful here. I mean, you know, I think all Victorians, and especially small business that has been so badly dealt such a hard blow this last 7 months, you know, any sort of compensation, of course, is probably welcomed. But the reality is that even the most smallest of businesses are running up debts of hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Medium-sized businesses are running up debts of millions of dollars. I mean, and not only, let's just talk about the timing here. The first round of compensation that was announced by the government, which was quite a few months ago, most of the restaurants that I've spoken to in the small cafes who applied for these grants, including us, are still yet to receive $1 single. And so, you know, again, it's just more of the same spin. If the government was genuinely focused on trying to help business, it would agree to our reasonable COVID-safe plan that we've been propagating now for many, many weeks. We have been pleading with the government to take a serious look at our responsible plan, which is COVID-safe. It's world-class in its practices and will allow our industry to open safely and appropriately so that we can protect the balance of Victorians and at the same time open our economy, and so we don't lose potentially up to 200,000 jobs just in the restaurant sector, not to mention the amount of jobs that will probably be lost across both hotels and restaurants. I'm sure David will be able to talk about those numbers. I mean, we are looking at job losses in the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people. Now, Mr Andrews continues to throw a little bit of sugar our way, hoping that that's going to keep us quiet, but quite frankly, it's making us even more angry and more frustrated. I mean, we have put to the government now on numerous occasions. The last week, we ran ourselves hoarse trying to explain to them that they need to be more reasonable. The 14 days zero average before we can open up our restaurants is just simply unachievable. Now, everyone has said that. There's not an operator in this state that thinks that's a practical solution. What we've suggested is, and we think it's very reasonable, is to adopt the very similar and realistic model that New South Wales has got, where pubs and clubs and restaurants are open and trading with daily infection rates between 10 and 20, all with COVID-safe plans. And all we're suggesting to the government is to take a very serious look at this. Yet we continue to be rejected, and we continue to have these ridiculous smoke screens put up, headline figures trying to grab attention that they're doing something for our industry, when really at the end of the day, these sort of small handouts don't mean anything and they're meaningless. We need to get our kids back to work. We need to get our businesses open, and we can do it in a safe way.
Got to leave it there. I've run out of time, but I could talk to you both for a very long time all tonight. I'll get you back on, David, because I want to focus particularly on regional Victoria as well. David Canny, Chris Lucas, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Peter.
Thanks, Peter.